So, all right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I got Maurizio from Cataclysm and Hard Impact Artist Management. We have known each other and been working together for getting close to 7 years now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. Too quickly.
Too quickly. It doesn't even seem like it's been that long. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, it's been like, it's 6.5 years.
Right.
Something
it feels like it just started like
a couple years ago, maybe.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing, right? I mean,
it is.
It could be worse. Like sounds like forever.
Yeah. But I think we've definitely, I think with you and Stephan, working with you guys has been, in my opinion, been really great. I think we've seen eye to eye on a lot of things for the most part,
Yeah. I mean, it's like with different personalities and
yeah, for sure.
I think we represent pretty much what's out there.
Yeah.
All of us.
We do.
So
yeah.
We're me and you are more the firebranded types.
Steph
is the diplomatic, Steph is the guy that brings the peace and cools off things. And me and you are fire starters.
Steph's the peace officer. I got to get him on here too. I love Stephan. He's fucking great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're
very proper.
He is. I think everyone that I know that has met Stephan has said the same thing. He's very, very nice, very proper, he's just polite,
educated,
funny, he is.
He's the guy that I don't know anybody that doesn't like him.
Yeah, I've never met anybody that doesn't like Stephan.
He's the guy that wants to be at peace with everybody and tries to accommodate everybody. Yeah. So it's a guy to kind of run things, with the agency. And
yes, he's a good
dude.
He's a good boss for me. Yeah, we got Sean in here. I don't know if you have the chat room open, but Metalcore Nerds is Sean Mott. He runs a podcast called Metalcore Nerds.
Yeah. Where's the chat thing on the bottom here?
Right? Yeah, it should be when you pull open the stream. It should be on the right side. If you click on the video, you might have to refresh it.
Yeah,
I would refresh real quick.
For some reason, I'm not getting anything here.
On my page?
Nope.
Should be able to refresh and it'll pop up. If you go to twitch.tv/Danfonce.
I don't see anything.
Really?
There's nothing. Nope. I just see myself, to be honest.
Did you just see me and you?
I don't see you either.
What?
Nope.
I don't know why it's doing that. Well, if anybody asks questions in the chat, I'll bring them up while we're chatting.
You can actually just put it on the Skype chat in the bottom, and I can answer.
Oh yeah, I can do that as well.
Yeah, that works.
So
sorry.
No, it's all good. But Sean's in here, and we got Rob from the Zenith Passage.
Cool.
Some cool people in here. But let's talk about when did you join Cataclysm?
A lot of you were not born.
I was born. I ain't that young.
19. I didn't join Cataclysm. I kind of formed Cataclysm.
Formed it.
To be honest. Yeah, I formed it. I was bass player in the band.
That's right.
1991. So basically, we're 29 years old, going on 30 next year.
Ooh, 30th anniversary next year.
Well, we had a bunch of plans. Obviously, everything's kind of up in the air right now, but we have a lot of plans, regarding that.
Okay.
You get to the point where it's an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
You're at 30 years of career. This is our 14th record we just released now.
Yeah.
And you get there, and then you're thinking, you know what? It's like, should I say that it's 30 years? Because you're starting to sound real old when you're starting to get, when I remember when, Metallica was 20 years old. I was like, oh man, they're fucking old.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's one of those things, but I take pride in it. I mean, I'm cool. But yeah, formed in 91, me, JF, Sylvain, the old singer. And we started the band then, and in a different time, different time. No internet,
none of that.
A lot of tape trading, and the internet was the fax machine came out. Everybody was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
get
The
a
fax.
fax machine was like I remember shooting faxes back and forth with the owner of Nuclear Blast, Marcus Steiger. We used to
Yeah.
shoot each other's like we used to fight. So I'd be like
Oh
fuck
my
off, he'd be
God.
like fuck
Via
yourself, like back.
fax.
You'd see that fax machine pop like slowly, chick, 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 like this, and then
Yeah.
it's
Fuck
fuck
you.
you. So that was the old days, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I prefer emailing, obviously, and the internet
Well,
and
for
everything in the
sure.
world we're in. But I find that now it's getting to an extreme, with social media and everything.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I come from a different era.
No, I
I've
know.
kind of seen the entire transition of things
Yeah.
all the way to now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I remember when I first got like a computer. I mean, shit, I was like what 13, and then social media, later on. But I mean, even then, when I was like promoting shows, it was just mostly. Well, sorry, it was MySpace days. When I
Right.
started.
Right. Well, how old were you
What?
when 91?
I was. What is that? 88, 89, 94. And
See?
Sean said he was one.
So you guys were taking shit, still shit in
Yeah, we're still.
pants, and I was forming
Yeah,
Cataclysm.
you
So
were starting Cataclysm.
yeah, and then we're in the second wave
Mm-hmm.
of the metal movement, right? We
Yeah.
came up with there's three waves, I believe. We came up with the Hypocrisies,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and on bands like that. Before us, it was like the Morbid Angels, and I think Deicide a
Decide.
couple of years before, Cannibal Corpse. That was all
A
that
little bit
that
right
big wave,
before.
first one, Obituaries and all
Yeah.
that, the Roadrunner
Yeah.
days, and then we came out right under, like right after Dismember. I think it was like the
Yeah.
Hypocrisies, stuff like that. And after us, then there was the Niles, the Cryptopsy, the third
The
kind of way.
third,
But Cryptopsy was there with us,
pretty much.
through the whole time. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, they just got signed
They
later,
got signed later on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys got signed to Nuclear Blast right off the bat, or was that the first label the band was on,
We
or were
got
you on something
we got
smaller?
offered from other labels, but Nuclear Blast, the first record deal we signed.
Wow. So you've been with them
Yeah,
ever since.
ever since,
That's crazy.
and that, I mean, it's a rare thing, I think. And like, we were 91. I signed in 93.
Yeah.
So we were
93.
years signed. And we were the only band in Canada at the time that was signed because Gorguts was on Roadrunner,
Yep.
and then they got dropped after two records, I
Oh,
think.
damn! I didn't even know
I
that. I
remember
didn't
I
know that.
remember hearing that had sold only, I think, Considered Dead. No, Erosion of Sanity had sold, I think, 20 or 25,000 units, and I remember Roadrunner like, oh, that's nothing, you're out. These
It's
days,
crazy,
you say
man.
20,000, like, yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
sell
like
fucking 5,000,
you're
10,000. Like,
right.
whoa.
So such a different in contrast. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, they only did 25,000 in the States, buy or
Yeah.
something like
Later,
that.
guys.
And yeah, so it's just different times. But then they got dropped, we got signed, and we were the only signed band for a while.
Really?
And I'm talking about death metal, that world. We were, even Voivod wasn't signed at that time, or a very small label, and
Wow.
so it was kind of like all eyes on us at that time.
Yeah.
Like talking about the early '90s and stuff. So it was a cool time, man. Different.
Yeah, way different. I feel like it was just more, I don't know. Was it less stressful, you think?
Way more organic
More
than it is
organic,
now.
yeah.
Like in the sense of it's like um everything was allowed, and it was kind of like everybody would, the scene itself was kind of like, there was a lot of competition between the bands. There was a scene, like a local scene, that
Yeah.
was super heavy and as important as, let's say, when nationals or international bands would come in,
Mm-hmm.
the local scene, you had all your little posses at the concerts looking at each other, he plays in this band and this, and
Yeah.
there was this thing, and it made us compete against each other, but it made us better
That's cool.
as musicians.
Yeah.
Like here are the dudes in Cryptopsy, here's the dudes in Gorguts,
Mm-hmm.
here's the dudes in Antagonists, or like all these other bands that were there,
Yeah.
and Necronomicon and
All
all these
those,
other
yeah.
bands. So it's like created a healthy environment, although there's a lot of bickering and a lot of crap going on.
Yeah.
In the end, especially fast forwarding to now,
Mm-hmm.
we all respect each other. We all have a good relationship. But back then, it was everybody at each other's necks. Like who's going to put the next more brutal record or whatever. And so yeah, so it was just a different time, and more honest, I would say. Now
Yeah.
it's like people, my opinion, just say whatever they want to say,
I know.
just to please, right? They're like, there's this kind of disconnect with reality happening a little bit. I find,
I feel like that is the case. There's a lot of people that I'm like, man, this person needs to come back to earth. Saying that a lot about people. I'm like, you need to come back down.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
There's this kind of realistic thing that doesn't exist anymore, and I don't know. Maybe that's the part of being old, getting
I
old or
think it
whatever.
is. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, I've definitely noticed as I've gotten older. I mean, I'm 33, so I'm not fucking old. But as I've like when I reached like 30, it's like I started to like calm down on certain things, and I think I started to get slightly less irritated with things. There's still things,
Right, right.
obviously, we all have that like tick us off and make us maybe rage a little bit.
Patience, patience is thin when you're young, and
Hmm.
then it gets better, and then it gets thin again as you get older. So it's like kind of that thing. The cool thing is traveling all these years and seeing everything evolve.
Yeah.
I think has made us sharper also in the business. I dived right into business side of things quickly. I didn't stay only as a
Oh
musician because
no.
I saw a lot of crap out there and
Yeah.
a lot of things that bothered me. I'm the type that can't stand still that I see something that's wrong
Yeah.
or a band getting,
Screwed
treated
over.
the wrong
Yeah.
way or whatever. That's how I accidentally got into
When
management,
was
for
that?
bands.
Like, when did that start? Like, officially thing?
2007 or 8, I
Oh
believe.
shit.
I was touring a lot and meeting all these bands, freaking out. And I'm like, why don't you do it this way? And they were
Oh.
like, well, I never thought of it that way. And well, I said, well,
Huh.
you got to look at different angles of things, and not everything you see is the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Like as messed up as that sounds, sometimes something there's an angle to it, and you got to figure it out. And sometimes it's just stupid stuff that wasn't. In front of you and you're not seeing it. So I kind of have that ability of seeing the weaknesses right away.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I kind of fix those things quickly and then you move because that's what drags you down as a band. And it takes a longer time to get to where you want to be when you think everything is great. You got to look at all the defects first also.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
It,
right.
we're kind of we're taught not to do that or look, always be positive, positive, positive. But
Mm-hmm.
if you get your negatives, then you can fix them, right? And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Remember with Flesh God Apocalypse, it was incredible band, and I was like, there's just some of the organization around them before I got in. I was like, it was just kind of like this can't make sense for them, and
When did
we
you
kind
start managing those guys?
of,
When did you start managing Flesh God?
well,
Right.
it's 10 years
Oh
now.
wow. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, ten
That
years.
band's
Yeah,
come a
and then,
long way, and it's insane to see
yeah.
it.
We worked real hard and trying to put them in the right places and then fighting some uphill battles with certain things, but in the end it's like they're just such a great band and the image is so strong and
Yeah.
and they're so determined, right?
Yeah.
And then you got the Italian factor, which is like can be counterproductive when because I'm Italian
I
also, and
know.
then you have this going on, bah, 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 and it's like I remember it being the year that I signed them. I was touring Cataclysm with them with Flash God
Oh,
in the
okay.
States, and I remember the tour bus. I just looked through the window and I just saw all the Italians in a round circle having a meeting,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all I saw is this, and then like Porco Dio, vaffanculo, blah, screaming. I just opened the thing and closed it like this, and it was just screaming out of their lungs, like just because of some
Jesus.
shit that was going on.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of that fire, right? But
Yeah.
that's also the thing that feeds them as a band. So
It is,
you
yeah.
got to tap in the strength,
Mm-hmm.
of every band has its own strengths, its own identity that you gotta tap into,
Yep.
and then hopefully that gets the crowd to like you, because in the end you could be the best band in the world, but if you don't have appeal, that's going to be difficult,
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's I like it. It's challenging, so I kind of
Yeah.
fell to that. Didn't like the touring angle. What happened lately with John Finberg,
Oh yeah.
right? So I'm sure we're going to
Long
tap into
time coming.
so that dude,
Yeah.
like kind of made me want to start an agency with
Mm.
Continental with
So that
Steph.
kind of lit the fire under your
It
ass.
was it was a 50% because of him, because he was such an asshole with bands and
Yeah, and he was
rip.
booking a lot of them then too.
You're starting off as a band, and he's like, I'm going to give you $50, and that's what you're going to get for the next 5 years, and
Yeah.
he just abuses bands left and right. And if you pop by yourself, then he likes you. Then he's willing
Oh
to pay
yeah,
a little more. Like he's just one of those,
yeah,
not there's no development behind it.
yeah. He's not
You know
about
how we
that.
do it, you know how we do it with Continental.
Oh yeah, we're
It's develop,
yeah.
right?
That's exactly
I
what
have
we do.
my mentality is to develop because
Hmm.
there needs to be somebody that's going to give bands a chance, move them in the right direction. If you do it with management or you do it with an agency,
Yeah.
you you're given the chance, right? And that's the thing. Everybody deserves a shot. If you mess up your shot, that's up to you, right? But at
That's
least
yeah.
we give the opportunity. And if we see an angle or an opening where we can give the band more money, more exposure, why
Yes.
not? Everybody wins.
Exactly.
You as an agent, you've seen it,
Oh yeah,
right?
100%, man. I mean, a good band that I've brought up before is Rivers of Nile, for example. I mean, that band, they
Great.
really I work great with them. Even their manager Ben, we're all on the same page, and we
That's
all
a good
work
thing.
hard, and we all do our we do our job, full 100%, and just look at them. I mean, their last headliner after the new record came out,
Hmm.
crushed.
You got the nose for it too, right?
Yeah,
I remember you telling me that this
yeah,
band
yeah,
it's gonna go places,
yeah,
and then like you had so many cool bands like that that you get
yeah,
called right away, and then we put attention in,
yeah.
and instead of the other angle of a Finberg, which is like I'm just gonna plug this hole with this band,
Hmm.
and then whatever they're serving a purpose, right?
Yeah.
So you know it's a different way of seeing things, and I thought that the industry only had John Finberg for mid-level bands and lower class bands that are trying to build,
Hmm.
and all we had was him,
Him. Yeah.
and he booked Cataclysm.
Oh, he
The
did.
only thing, he booked Cataclysm,
Yeah.
not many tours, maybe two,
Oh, okay. So very
because
short
I
lived.
lost it. I mean, me, I
Oh
lose shit.
yeah, you lost your shit.
I can't deal with somebody like that. That's kind of like trying to put nobody puts foot in my neck. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you can't change the game, you got to become the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
So I kind of like, I took on
Hmm.
the booking thing. I was like, Steph, you're the biggest
Yeah, because you and
promoter.
Steph go way back. Did
Yeah,
did
I
you
mean,
guys meet because of him being a promoter?
Steph booked the first Cataclysm show ever in Canada,
Get out of here.
or, or was the second. That's how I met him.
Oh wow. So you guys like
Yep.
connected pretty much right away?
And I was like, he came to the show. He was like this little kid with braces, and I was like, this is the promoter. I go to my manager at the time because we had a manager that was kind of working the band at the time in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
I think I was only 17 or 18 or something,
Yeah.
and then I was like, make sure you get the $50 right away. Or $100, I don't remember. So I
Yeah.
don't trust this dude,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
guy was awesome. Steph was his first show. I think there was like
Oh, what?
maybe, I don't know, 50 people in there. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was only our second. But I remember that he was totally like, um, nervous, but professional already.
Really? So you
So
could tell
like
right
just
away.
kind of like this guy's gonna go places, and then a year later he's doing Cannibal Corpse. He
Wow.
was that quick.
Literally a
Yeah,
year later.
a year later he was doing Cannibal Corpse. I remember the Jailhouse Rock, no, not Jailhouse Rock, the Backstreet Underground is the club,
Okay.
and sold
In
out 500
Montreal.
people.
Right.
Yeah, in Montreal, sold out. He killed it, and I think it was Cat Samael, a bunch of bands. Anyways, he killed it on that, and then he totally got big and strong, and dealt with guys like John Finberg because he had most of all the bands,
Yeah, I know.
you know.
At the time, he had the
So
mid-level like death metal bands, right?
and the big ones too. I mean, he was doing Morbid Angel, everybody at that time
Wow.
also. So he got big, and he was the agent for any band that's coming in that wants a shot at this. He's the
Yeah.
guy, right? So Finberg for a long time was like that. And then what happened is, I told him at some point, I was in Chicago, and I told him, look, we're gonna. I'm talking to Robert at Century Media, and who wants to come on board with me and start this agency and wants to fund it so that we can get something going, because we need an alternative to all this. Possible for any bands to develop under John Finberg. It's going to be a mess, and some of the
Yeah.
promoters that were out there were too small, and
Hmm.
it was kind of like a tough thing. And I remember I was working also with Ash at the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think he was doing EE booking.
He
some of
probably
them.
was doing EE, right?
Yeah.
That's
And
what he
then
first started with.
yeah, I help him with that. I help also Thunderdome, which was the Dan Rosenblum. So
Yeah.
I have my hands involved in booking for
Yeah,
a
you've
long
known
time.
each other for a while.
I helped build a lot of agencies in the beginning. I just try to give them some support, some strong bands, especially from Europe and stuff like that, to give them a boost. And I was always doing it in a way to create competition because I think that's healthy. I know that
Yeah,
there's a lot
no, it
of
is.
views on that today, but I'm still a firm believer that competition improves you, and having him having all these other agencies around him, it kept everybody on their game, So
Yeah.
and then Steph just moved to California. We got him in, and he just he was the guy because I said, hey, you're a promoter, I works on both sides.
Yeah, you know both things, both sides of it.
So I said, you're the perfect guy for this, and he's just great, and we're happy to have you on board as well. And I think the agency, unfortunately, now we're stuck in this place where we can't do much, but
Yeah.
um,
But I
I,
think
when it comes back, we're gonna be
we're
ready.
gonna go full force.
Yeah.
It's people have asked me like, so what are you gonna stop doing this? I'm like, no, there's no way I could stop. I just love the challenge. I think that's
Yeah.
why I've never stopped because I just I can't sleep until the challenge just keeps me going.
But you know what?
Like,
It's one of those things where you got to be realistic with this. I mean, obviously, some
yeah,
people to do other things for a little bit. This is not going to go away.
yeah,
I have also some direct contacts in Europe and some of the people that are doing the open airs and all that stuff and how things are moving and how they're looking. And we're looking to be like this for a while. And I know nobody wants to hear this, but I predict that. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, so don't take my word for it. But
yeah.
there's going to be a lot of social problems that are going to cause delays in a lot of things. Like, not everybody's going to want to take the vaccine when it comes out.
For
It's going to be a
sure,
lot
there's going to be a lot of that.
things like that that's going to drag into 2021.
Yes.
So as you've seen, you've canceled Devastation already,
Yeah.
and that was what, March,
March. Well, it would have. This one would have started in mid
January.
February. I think
Okay.
February 14th.
So yeah. So look, we're canceling January, February. I canceled already a tour in March.
Yeah.
It's going to go all the way to April now. I think by the end of the year, let's say nothing changes by November, December.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at the first half of 2021
Yeah, the
being
first
complete.
6 months gone. Yeah.
So the idea is to start with the open airs in the summer
Yeah.
of 2021 is the idea.
The open air.
If it doesn't start in the summer of 2021, industry's going to be in serious trouble because I don't see bands surviving this another year like this. It's going to be very tough.
Yeah.
There's some bands that could do it. They walk away for a little bit, they come back to it, get another job, and there was never the mean of living from this.
Yeah.
But mid-level bands that were living from it, depending on it, the touring, right? Those are the ones that are going to be in a very rough position coming next year. They already are now.
Oh, they already are now. Yeah.
Already the foundations now starting to appear. So we're hoping that we can get at least the open airs going, so there's some sort of funding and some money that starts running in back into everybody. Yeah, and then in the fall of 2021, hopefully some tours start.
Yeah.
As the vaccine or whatever starts making its rounds everywhere, and then it starts getting better, and then 2022 is when they think everything will be back to where it was.
But
damaged. It's not going to be like it was. Everything great and everybody's getting the big money or whatever. It's going to be damaged.
Yeah, it's going to be damaged. It's going to be definitely a bit different.
It's not to be death and gloom or anything. It's, again, I'm a realistic person. I see things though for what they are, and that's where we're going. This is assuming everything else stays normal, which obviously we're not seeing that either, right? We're seeing
it's been
stuff going on everywhere. So
yeah, it's like this whole the shutdown or the pandemic to me officially started in like mid-March. So it's like now we're about to hit October. So it's like really there's nothing positive that like a vaccine or anything comes out by the end of the year. It's like the first half of next year is pretty much gone.
Yeah. And now, someplace we never left the first wave.
Yeah.
So
now
we're going to be right in it. And then there's going to be the second wave that's appearing now in Europe and places.
I
and we'll
know.
see. Look, you got to look at history. People got to stop freaking out because you got to look at history with flus. If it
Yes.
was something else like the plague, okay,
Yeah,
panic, high, whatever.
yeah.
A flu is different, and you just got to research. You can't trust the politicians. They're all crazy. They're all bullshit. They're going to
Yeah.
tell you whatever
Stop.
it needs to be. They all have an agenda, right? One's going to blame the other
You're
for the
right, though.
deaths
You're
and this and
100%
that.
right
You don't
about that.
trust that. But trust history, always history, because history says flus, the maximum length they last is about 2 to 3 years. Then they die
Yeah.
out. So Spanish flu, that was the case. Lasted 3 years. They didn't have no vaccines back then. It just went away. So this will go away, or it will stay as a very weak strain, because that's what happens with these things. They keep moving. Like
Mm-hmm.
right now, they say it's more contagious than before. And what happens is that it's easier to transmit, but as becoming easier to transmit becomes weaker.
Yeah.
That's why it's less deaths. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
I'm
kind of
with you.
scientific. Trust the science. Again, it's not a muzzle. Wear the mask.
That's
All right.
all.
People are just,
Fucking
freaking
out
out about,
over
they're
it.
going to shut me up, whatever. Just, my philosophy is this. Your 1% chance of getting it, it's enough for me to wear the mask.
Yeah.
Even if it's 1% true or hoax or bullshit, even if it's 1%,
I'm
wear the
wearing the
mask.
mask. Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? And then just get through it for now. It's easier than putting your shoes on.
It really
And
is.
so
It's the,
I just see it like that. I just want to get back to work. I want to get back to touring, and I'm still working. I
yeah, you're
can't.
doing more
I'm a
behind.
workaholic.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're doing more behind the scenes stuff.
I
You
did
got,
my first tour. I was 19
yeah,
overseas. Check this out. My first
overseas.
tour. Well, my first tour ever was in 1995. I think I was 19 or 20.
Yeah.
It was with it was Deicide
Oh, wow.
on the Legion record, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which was a classic one. They were going
Classic.
into they were going into Once Upon the Cross. So it was like Damn,
Yep.
Brutal Truth. There was Cathedral on there, which didn't make sense on that package. And then
Yeah.
it was Sinister, Cataclysm, Flesh Crawl. It was like
Holy
the
shit. And
first
this is
time,
Europe.
first forever, it was overseas in Europe in front of 1,000 people a night. And I was in like a tour bus. I was like spoiled.
Spoiled right
Came
off the
back,
bat.
yeah, came back to the US, and then I got the, what's it called? The reality check,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a van, sleeping in it,
Yep.
no food, Taco Bell. Yeah, we did it all.
Just,
So it was great because that gives you your chops, and that gives you reality,
yeah,
right?
no, it
That's
does.
what you need to do. The all bands
That
need to go through
reality
that.
check.
Yeah. Sorry, we're going left and right with all kinds
Oh
of
no, it's
subjects.
fine, dude. It's how I like doing these episodes. Just talking about everything. It's not more like I'll ask people like a few different questions and just topics, and we just go off on them. That's all.
Right.
Someone in the chat asked, "What's the hardest part about being in a band?" What do you?
The hardest part about being in a band, well, I would say that first of all, it's being around the other guys in the band because you have to be more than a family. You know
You
what I mean?
do.
You have to be best friends, and you got to get along with everybody, and everybody has to have, which is extremely important. Everybody has to have the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go into that idea that you're all pulling in the same place. If one's one side, the other's pulling the other way, you're gonna have problems. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing, right?
Yeah.
After that, it's being your biggest critic, because you have to be hard on yourself, on your
Mm-hmm.
music, and understanding that you're doing the best, because you're going to think you're great, but unless other
Others might
people are
not.
telling you you're great, you might not be. So
Exactly.
you can have like 10 people in front of you, everybody says you suck, there's a small chance you might be sucking. So I think you got to be getting along with the guys in your band,
Yeah.
understanding the way they see things,
Yeah.
making sure that you're in the same direction, pulling everybody together, going ahead,
Yeah.
and your biggest critic. Those are the
Yes.
three things I think that are the beginning of getting started in a band, for sure.
And definitely, and just being successful. There's a lot of
Yeah.
bands that just go through so
Success
many.
comes when all those things are put together right,
Yeah, when they're
and,
aligned.
and then you have a little bit of luck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the right place. I do believe that.
I believe that too.
And then just hard work. Don't take no for an answer. Just keep working
Just keep
hard,
going.
Yep.
Yes. No, you're right. Have you? He also asked, have you attended any sort of WWE event? Because it seems to be a common thing among metal music groups. I've seen clips of Corey Taylor, Travis Barker, David Draymond, etc., etc.
At like at
Yeah,
wrestling
WWE. Yeah,
events. No, I never been to one. I would love
I,
to. I would have loved to see them. I mean, more back then.
yeah.
Like with the
WWF days. That's what I grew up on
yeah,
too. WWF is what I
yeah.
loved as a
I think I
kid.
stopped. I stopped right after The Rock was gone.
Was
I
it after
think.
that? I kind of
I think
I was like when they
you.
transitioned when they changed it from WWF to WWE, I was still
Yeah.
watching and then I slowly phased out because I just wasn't into it anymore. It just the
Right.
early days like WWF, WCW, I dude, that was prime.
Right.
Prime.
Right. Yeah. You had all of them. Ric
Stone
Flair
Cold
in there,
Steve
and like
Austin, you know.
yeah. See, that was the era that I the
Yeah.
most. Yeah.
It's cool that they are like Code Orange and stuff like they're
Mhm.
like, there's these wrestlers that are like repping them and like using their music as their entrance music and stuff like
Super
that.
cool.
It
Yeah.
is. It's pretty
Well,
fucking
a lot
rad to
of them
see
are
it.
metalheads, right? So a lot
Yeah.
of metalheads, yeah.
It's been cool to see that because that's never I mean that never happened before.
It happened back in the day with a band called Stock Mojo, I
Oh
believe,
yeah.
in Atlanta. They were always involved with the wrestlers because that was their headquarters, I think, where they trained.
Yeah,
So I think that we always, wrestling and metal always dabbled with each other. Like they always,
for sure.
kind of were in the same world a little bit, but it kind of, got more extreme with time, right?
Yeah.
So now that they rep shirts and stuff on
Got the
stage, on
merch.
the ring and stuff, it's cool.
Yeah, the entrance
They
music
come
and
to
stuff.
shows.
Even like,
Yeah.
did you see that video or of Code Orange performing on WWE? I think it was WWE
Oh,
or NXT.
are you
Yeah,
serious?
they
Oh,
performed
let's see.
on. They like did the intro song or whatever for one of the wrestlers. I forget his name. And like the
That's so.
wrestler was coming out, his entrance, and the band was like performing the song. It was fucking
Oh,
rad. I was
wow,
really
that's great.
shocked
I've
by it.
never, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Talk about big promotion.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. I think that's what really that definitely helped that band, Code Orange. I think that's like
Oh
that
yeah,
band definitely. I'm not like crazy about them, so to say. Like I'm not like, oh my god, I love this band. But I think what they're doing is cool, and like
they just came at the
they
right time.
did,
Again,
and they're
timing. So every
experimenting with their sound too, which is cool.
Yeah, and they're dirty.
Yeah,
Sound dirty,
in
and
your
I kind of like
face.
it's polished and dirty at the same time. And I think
Yeah,
that's
it is.
there's an appeal to that. Yeah,
It definitely is.
yeah. And the name is
I
great.
love the
It's a great
name.
name.
It used to be Code Orange
Yeah,
Kids when they were kids when they started it.
I'm happy they got rid of the word
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, it's definitely way.
If I was their manager, like that
Yeah, yeah,
goes.
we're doing Code Orange.
Yeah,
Um,
cool.
so the new Cataclysm record. Did you guys do
Yeah.
anything different this time around for this record?
Yeah, a few things. I mean,
I feel like you went heavier.
we did change. We changed the guitar tones.
Yes.
We went from a 6 string to a seven.
Yep.
Same with the bass, 4 to 5, and that automatically changes your dynamics. When you do that
Yeah.
on sound. I thought it was time for us to take a gamble like that. Jeff wanted to do that for a while, but we never really moved forward with it. And then we decided this time
Try it
it was
out.
the right. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just do it. I mean, I know it's crazy to try something like that after 14 records, but I thought it was the right time because I felt like we need to get and back on the radar in a different way, and we have to connect also with the younger
Yeah.
generation that's behind us. There is a gap that happens, like we're in our 40s, and then like you got all this kids that are like 16, 17. You want to kind of with that type of fan base. So
Yeah.
you got
Try
to
to pull
change
them
things.
in.
You got to modernize. So that's what we did with the sound. We were super lucky on this record. We took Colin Richardson out of retirement to do the album. So that
Oh
was a
shit! I
big
didn't even
thing.
realize that. Wow.
Dude, that guy's a legend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I
it's like
know.
it's touched everybody from Machine Head, Slipknot, Carcass, Napalm Death, like
The list goes
just
on.
the
Yeah.
producer. Yeah. So we were lucky because JF knew Chris Clancy, which is a great songwriter and used to be in the Mutiny Within, was signed on
Oh,
Roadrunner, I
I
believe.
remember that band. Holy
Yeah. And
shit! I
then,
haven't heard that name in a
yeah,
while.
he's a great writer and a great producer as well. And he was friends with JF. They were working on some indie rock stuff. And Colin Richardson ended up, being in the picture because he mentioned his name, and Jeff was like, "We love that guy. I mean, any
Yeah.
way we can do songs, and he could check out if he'd be interested to do the next Cataclysm." He says it was a long shot. He heard the demo tracks and the pre-production, and he was just like, "Wow, I got to do the band." So
Wow.
I'm gonna. So we got lucky, dude. It's like he came out and
Perfect timing too.
yep, again the timing,
Timing.
and he picked the record up and then just give it a production like this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
I mean, it sounds amazing, dude.
it's the best sounding record we've ever done, and I got to give a lot of props to those two producers and JF. Obviously, he's the main guy behind our sound, but
Yeah.
that guy's touch, he just touches it, and it's like boom,
It's
it's
fucking
like
gold.
yeah. So I'm like, I gotta, he's in his 60s.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, I got to get you before you get to 70. You got to get another record in with me. And,
Yeah.
he's totally in.
And that's your guy. Yeah, that's your guy's first time working with him.
So,
right?
so it's cool because actually it was recorded at Andy Sneap's backstage studios in England.
Yeah. Oh.
So they used his studio.
Okay.
Colin Richardson was in his studio. So all these big dudes were kind of like, touching on the record and stuff. So it's kind of cool. Yeah.
So that definitely worked out well. Yeah, I definitely noticed that it was like heavier. It sounded better too. The production's like way better too.
The arrangements are a bit better. It's
a lot of catchy riffs too that gets stuck in my head.
Yeah, I mean, but that's Cataclysm.
Yeah, you've always had them.
We've never been over the top, and we were over the top on our first few records. Back in the day when I was playing bass, and Sylvain was the vocalist, and an album like Temple of Knowledge. I remember Gene Hoglan and all these dudes would come out to shows freaking out because it was a way ahead of its time. Like every song had like 40 riffs or something. So
yeah,
it was a crazy time. Cataclysm was just kind of doing the stuff, and with time. We wanted to be the most extreme band in the world. We got that title in '96, and then at that time when we did that, we didn't feel like it was the place to stay.
I got you.
And we decided to be more of a writing songs, things that are memorable. And I took over the vocals. That the band became a little bit more on the groove end things. I'm a big Pantera fan.
Yeah,
I think I brought a lot of that in.
When did you take over vocals? What year? Or
98, I believe.
Oh, okay, so not that long after.
I've done 12 out of the 14 records. So basically, yeah. But still, people, how it goes. The old singer, they did 2 songs, 2 albums.
2 albums, man.
Right, but to give him props.
Yeah.
Without him, there'd be no Cataclysm because he was the driving force in the beginning. And again, luck and bad luck, whatever it is, it's all the stars aligned, and then you're here or you're not. You know what I mean? So,
did he just not want to do it anymore?
He started suffering from schizophrenia, and it created a big gap, like between all of us, and a big problem. It's like in the studios, it was always a mess.
Yeah.
He would sing over solos, sing over everything. Some people thought that was super original, but there was no space for music.
Yeah.
It became very chaotic songwriting, and he wanted to add 2 drummers, 4 guitar players, and it was like, he went off the deep end a little bit, and we couldn't kind of control him anymore.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the big problem at that time. I remember going to see Deicide, I believe it was Demolition Hammer or something like that in Montreal. The packed, about 1,500 people in there. It was crazy. And I remember being in the back of the crowd with him, and he was saying, "Glenn is looking at me right now. He's like,
what?
He knows I'm here." All this type of stuff that was coming out of his mouth. And I was just like, dude, the guy's just doing a show is probably high as a motherfucker right now.
He's in front of 1,500 people.
That guy, he's looking at you, dude. And you're like, we're all the way in the back, and he's like saying, like, we got to go to war and all this shit. And I was just like, dude.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of, I don't want to talk bad about him or anything because, I still kind of, miss him a little bit because we came up, we built it together.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning. But it's just, is when you lose your mental state, right?
Yeah.
There's no coming back from that. Like all the damage you make or the damages you create, it's kind of like, so the band disintegrated right after that. And then we were not a band for about 6 months. And then we kind of reformed with me on the vocals, and JF had quit. Nobody could work. So then everybody came
Wow.
back and formed Cataclysm in a different way, and we kind of just broke away from the past completely and put a really, really controversial record out called Victims of This Fallen World.
Mm-hmm.
And when we released that record, all hell broke loose. I remember doing the first show and getting beers thrown at me and all kinds of shit.
Jesus.
Well, he was a legendary singer. It was like he was popular because
Really,
of his craziness.
Exactly.
So here comes me, and
People were
by the
like
time
pissed right away.
it's like here I come on stage and they're like, dude, fuck off. It's
Oh my
like,
God.
and I was opening for Morbid Angel. So now you got Morbid Angel fans that are like Sylvain fans because they're gonna be more on that end
Yeah.
of this, from like very conservative kind of metalheads and like very like straight like this, and I was just like fuck, like I was wearing a Deftones shirt. I remember.
Oh no.
They were
Oh no.
I remember this. I remember it. The whole first lineup. This is our hometown, Montreal,
Yeah.
which we sell out venues with the whole lineup.
Yeah.
Everybody was like this.
No.
In the front. Yeah, during the whole set, dude.
Oh man.
That's enough to quit.
That's enough to quit. You're not wrong. That would. Wow.
Guess what? I did.
Yeah.
I put 12
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Never take no for an answer.
Push
you
through.
Go back,
Just push.
Say, maybe we do suck a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Let's reevaluate. So we retouched the band sound and redid a bunch of things and came back strong and got signed to Nuclear Blast right away again.
Wow. Yeah.
Because with the transition, we got off the label for a year and then re-signed right away. And that was the beginning of the new Cataclysm.
Wow.
So year 2000, that would be the year that we kind of resurrected, and we haven't stopped since. So 20 years straight with this lineup. Yeah. So
I remember when I found out you were the singer from Cataclysm. I'm like, holy shit! I'm talking to the singer from Cataclysm. that's one of my two bosses. What the fuck? That's him. This fucking guy. No.
Guys, the singer of Cataclysm. Fuck.
Oh, dude. So we got another question. Will XDO be making a comeback tour? And have you ever thought of making a song with Peter with Vader?
That's actually an interesting question with Vader because, I'm friends with Peter and I haven't seen him in a while, but we did a festival, I think 2 years ago in Europe, and he was playing right before Cataclysm in Germany, and we hanged out a little bit.
Oh, right.
He's a great singer and a great musician. Yeah, I'd love to do something with Vader. Yeah, why not? But XDO, we're in the middle of a record right now.
That's right, yeah. Are you guys recording it right now or just writing right now?
We're finishing up the pre-production for it, and then I'm entering studio probably the first week of November. I believe that's the schedule we have right now. But it's a crazy record, dude. It's very twisted and very dark, and like it's just
different.
It's creepy. Yeah, it's crazy because I have Clemens from Carrick Ingram that's doing the entire orchestral score. And this guy, dude, is from another planet, man. And it's like, I told him I want to get everybody transported back to ancient Rome. You're in the Colosseum, you know what I mean? You're there, or you're in the battlefront. Like I want to do it. I mean, this record's based on Nero. It's called The 13 Years of Nero. That's going to be the album. It's a full concept record. And I said, I want to transport people to that twisted, crazy mind of his, and you got to bring something there. And this guy, what he created on this record is fucking insane. And so that's almost done. And he's also works with Lindman, which is the Rammstein singer. He's the guy that does all the orchestras for him. Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And we just got him right now. We just finished a deal with DC Comics. And they are on the soundtrack for the new Batman comics that are coming out.
Carrick is?
Yeah, they're like featured in it. Like they are the credits at the end. They're like that's their song. So and then they'll have the song Monster is going to be on the CD or the soundtrack. And they are the only. I feel so old saying CD now.
It does feel.
so they are. They're gonna blow up off this thing.
That band has come like
only a street band and that's on it. So
I know. And how long have you been managing Carrick Ingram for now?
8 years, I think.
Wow.
You know?
I remember seeing them like had to be like 5 years ago for the first time in Fort Worth and just be blown away by them. I was like,
The
this band
image,
has it.
touchable image. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. So they're total. They were kind of in the black metal scene a little bit, and
Yeah, I feel like
we
at
kind
first, right?
of we moved away from it, and then went more into the horror
Yeah.
type of thing because that's what fits for them. That's what they are, and they're just great live. And I was like, we got that stuff. So he's on the record. He
Dude,
got all the orchestra. Then I got Jeremy Kling
yep.
from the Absence,
Oh, yeah.
and
He's playing drums.
he's playing drums on
Oh,
the
fuck
record.
yeah. He's an
And
amazing
I love
drummer.
him because he's reminding me of Max, my old drummer.
Yeah.
He has this like simplistic but like bluesy type of like rhythmic groove
Mm-hmm.
beats, and it's not over the top. It just it lets a lot of and he
Room.
leaves a lot of space for the music to breathe. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's really cool.
Yeah, he's
So
not. Yeah. He's always
I
been
think
such a good drummer.
if you liked Caligula as a record, this one's going to be close to that, but more technicality, and we're anxious to release it. I think it's going to be a very strong album.
That's
So
great. Will that one be coming out on Napalm? Are you doing that on Napalm?
it's on Napalm.
Right.
That's on Napalm. I believe it's the last record on the Napalm deal, and then we will push this live. I'm going to be pushing this live
Yeah, I
heavily
remember
now.
you telling me even I
Yeah,
think last
it's
year
time.
you were
Yeah,
like,
it's time.
we're gonna do the XDO thing, bring it back,
Yeah.
tour it again.
Yeah, and then everything got screwed. I mean, my my first tour was off this with this idea in mind was with Flesh God in Europe. So it was
Oh
Flesh God
wow.
Apocalypse and Steo in Europe, yeah.
Jeez, man.
But we'll do something in the States, and we'll see. But we are definitely
That's gonna be
putting a
great.
lot of energy in this. Yeah,
Because it's been about how long has it been since an XDO record came out?
not too long
Not
actually.
it's
The
like a few.
the Immortal Wars came out, I believe, 3 years ago.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right.
So it's not too long
No,
ago.
not
They're
really.
trying to close those gaps because of Cataclysm eats so much of my time. It's in management and all the stuff I'm doing that usually it's 4 or 5 years between the XDO records, but this time we're trying to kind of cut it off, and this thing kind of helps in a way that we're all home and
Yeah, you got a lot of time.
nothing. So we're kind of like, yeah, let's just get this record done.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I mean, I've said it before I've said it before many times. It's just like this is like the right time for a lot of bands to really buckle down and write and even create content and everything, and just
Yeah,
get,
and I'm working also on my solo album,
Oh
Invictus, it's called, and
yeah,
that's
I don't know if you told me about
that's
that.
what I'm known with, and
Yeah,
mainly because of this tattoo right here. I don't
yeah.
know if you can see. And basically, so that record, I'm working with Chris Clancy on that, and JF2 is going to help me a little bit on it, and
Oh,
I think I'm going to collaborate with different musicians for this,
so, yeah.
and so I'm going to do something special with that at the end of the year. I'm going to announce a plan behind it, and
Damn, that'd
then
be
I'm going to
awesome.
yeah. So I got a couple of things going on, so we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Got a question. Cataclysm has evolved in so many years from sorcery and victims of the fallen world. Will Cataclysm ever make a re-release with your vocals?
Of those records,
Yeah,
old ones,
yeah. I
I
don't know.
I did one song that I've redone on the compilation for Nuclear Blast for the Awakener. I did my version of it.
Oh, okay.
I'm one of those guys that I believe a classic record, the way it was meant to be, should stay.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Going in there and re-recording everything and just trying to say, hey, I could do it as well. It's kind of,
It's like
I don't
why?
know. It's not something that I really believe in, to be honest.
Yeah,
So I don't think I'll ever touch those records. To be honest, some of the stuff he did, I don't think I can do it.
really?
They're they're
Yeah.
they're
He's just a
he's off
wild
time,
vocalist. Oh
but
yeah,
he's off time, and it's kind of like you're trying to bring that in time, and it's almost impossible because
yeah.
he's got
How
like
can you do
200
that?
just lyrics.
It
So yeah, so
would be
you
rough.
know, I
Nah.
don't think I'll redo any of those songs, re-record them. I think I'd like to leave the legacy of what he did the way it is, and
Yeah.
respect that,
Yeah.
and then just move forward. But to the saying the thing that of the evolution of the band, I think that's this right now with Unconquered is
Mm-hmm.
a moment that it's a departure from the old sound going into something new.
Yeah.
So we will probably ride this wave for a little bit, into new things.
Exactly. He said, one last question: is there any more hot sauces?
Funny you said that. Yes, I'm going to release 2 new ones for the new record.
Oh, you are?
Doing well with this thing, man. It's like my father was a chef. I don't know if that
Oh, I didn't
still
know
have
that either.
that in me. Yeah,
Really?
I tested this company a while back out of Carolina, and I mean that's the spot to make hot sauces. And I was like,
Yeah.
let's just do this for fun, right? And we did 100 of them, and they went like this, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then we
Okay.
said, hey, let's do 2 more. And so every record we're trying to come up with a new one. Like last record was Meditation, which came Narcissist, which is the most popular one right now.
Yeah.
But we're going to release 2 new ones. One is called a Kill Shot for the song,
Perfect for hot
and
sauce
it's a
name.
scorpion pepper, so it's the hottest in the world, right? So
Yeah.
that's like
I'll
just
pass on that one.
yeah, that's one of the crazy ones. And then I'm gonna have a jalapeno pepper one too that
Okay.
I'm gonna release.
I'll
I
fuck with
haven't
that.
chosen the title yet,
Yeah.
so I'm working on two new ones for this record. Yeah, so that's coming out probably in November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
November,
November,
December this
December,
year. Yeah.
new hot.
Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, I know it's perfect. I'll get the jalapeno one. I'll pass on the kill
Yeah,
shot.
yeah, that one's you're good. You're good on
Do you
that.
like the hot shit like that? Like
Um,
spicy of stuff?
I'm a big fan. Yeah,
You are?
I like spicy stuff. Yeah,
I
so
do too, but
I'll put that shit everywhere.
oh my god.
But I have here the Carolina Reaper, but in powder, so I throw that shit on everything.
Oh man, just sprinkle it
But
on.
I can handle it.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm saying that I'm like, fuck, I gotta throw something out. I gotta.
Yeah, show us.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. But I like hot stuff, but it's so funny because yesterday, not yesterday, a couple of days ago, a normal jalapeno.
You
I
just
was I
chop
was
on.
barbecuing outside, and I threw one on the grill, and then I ate it, and it was the hottest thing I've ever had in my life. I was crying.
Really?
So, and it was a jalapeno. I couldn't believe it. I mean, what the hell they injected this thing with?
Yeah,
I was
why
like,
was it so
dude, crazy. I was crying, and that's not me. Like, meaning like literally, like, oh man,
like
somebody
literally
sees
crying?
something.
Yeah. That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
So any of the other bands on Hard Impact got anything new coming up besides Carrick, Ingram, and Flesh God? I think we
Septic
got
Flesh.
yeah. What's Septic?
Flesh is in studio right now. First record for Nuclear Blast. I heard
Oh,
the new songs. They're incredible. So this is their big moment right now. So the new Septic Flesh they're doing with Borgren overseas in Sweden.
okay.
So
That's
they're
great.
almost done with the record. The orchestra's badass. I don't know if anybody's seen their show with the orchestra that we put together in Mexico. It was like
No, I got
3,500 people, and it's like the biggest orchestral show
what?
since Metallica's S&M. Like it's with 100
How,
people on stage. It was
when
absolutely
was
crazy.
that? How long ago was that? I gotta look that up
It's
and
like
watch it
a
after
year
this.
ago, I believe a year or 2 years ago. It's called Infernus Symphonica,
And
and that concert was just like wow. It was
oh, here we
my
go.
my biggest accomplishment as a manager was to survive that.
How much planning did
That
something like
thing,
that take?
listen, you're flying a band from Greece,
Yeah.
Mexico, all right? You're organizing with these people that are already part of this organization that has the symphonic orchestra of Mexico for a town that from a town on there, I think it was Toluca or something like that.
Okay.
And you're you're putting all your faith in this because everything could have sideways, million ways to one. Like it's
Oh
just
man, yeah, that many people.
so, hey, you have a children choir, full children choir, full stage of all these musicians. The band's rehearsed only 3 times with them.
Oh,
We had to film the whole thing for a DVD with cameras, moving cranes, everything. And here you got me in the middle, and they're kind of like, all right, if this blows up, my career may be over.
yeah. If
Dude,
this falls apart
all these white hairs you see, the half of them were from that show.
from that, yeah. But I
Yeah.
just pulled up the videos.
But
I'm
I
not.
was
I'm
so
not watching them, but it
proud of them.
looks insane, dude.
But Chris from Septic Flesh is such a genius with he conducted the whole thing, and he wrote all the
Wow.
pieces for everybody in the orchestra. And so let me tell you an insight on this thing.
Yeah,
That
please.
if you have a chance, watch it. I think you can
Oh,
find
I'm
it.
going to. I pulled
You
it
can
up
watch
right
it.
now.
I think it's free on YouTube right now. I'm not sure, but you can probably watch it.
Yeah.
Check this out. Now you got an orchestra. Everybody's sitting down. You're not allowed to thrash or do anything or stand up or you have to sit down, right? You're not allowed to have booze classical concerts
Yeah.
because it's a classic theater. Like it's
Yeah.
made up for that. So basically, they allowed beer for metalheads, so that was a big thing, a big victory for us to have people like feel like they're in a metal concert still.
Okay.
But the crazy thing is the orchestra, like the conductor and all the musicians,
Everybody, yeah.
they're not used to metal,
Yeah,
right?
this is, yeah.
So they're not used to the fan base. So this is the problem. When they started chanting, they couldn't hear their in-ears.
Oh, no.
So like here you got the guy, conducting, and now you got the people in the back.
Yeah, and it's throwing them off, right?
So the guys, they took their shit off and they were just going like with their own instinct.
Yeah, I
Conducted the
understand.
whole thing with his own feelings, man. It was insane that they pulled it off.
So they
Because
all pulled their
little-
in-ears out?
Huh?
So they all pulled their in-ears out?
They pulled their. I mean, they couldn't follow it.
Yeah, so they had to.
So they had to follow the conductor. They couldn't have their own cues anymore.
So
like
more,
they
even, yeah,
So
even
that
more
band-
organic.
Yeah, and then all the musicians were giving the horns. It was a great night, man. It was like,
Did you go to it, I assume?
yeah, I flew in for that. I mean, I had to be there.
You had to be there.
Yeah, imagine I'm here, everything goes to shit.
You're fucking fired. Shit, man.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
yeah.
insane. Yeah, I pulled up the videos. I haven't put them on, but just seeing like the thumbnails and I mean, this looks insane, man.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah, 30. We had
That's,
close to 3,500 people, sold out show.
Jeez, man. That's intense. How much planning? How long?
Months.
It had to be like at least 6 months.
Months, and then you had to negotiate, and you had to like
Lot of
get
different-
and out there, and from coming from Greece, it's
It's a lot.
they
man.
stayed for a vacation, because we're there, so it was cool.
Yeah.
Now we're planning on maybe doing a second one.
Oh, I mean, hey, this one was successful.
Yeah.
Why not? With the
Yeah.
same orchestra?
We're thinking about it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're working on a few things, but I don't know if we'll do it only in Mexico. We have a lot of offers to do it overseas in Europe as well. So
Yeah, that
I
would be
want
rad.
with a Roman amphitheater over there would be great.
Yeah.
So
That'd be
we
epic.
got some ideas, but yeah, so they got a new record coming out. I just put out the new Unleash the Archers record that's doing
That's right.
absolute killer,
Band's
I-
exploding.
exploding. That's like the lightning speed.
Yep.
Oh, I saw them live a few years ago, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember when you told me too.
I was in Chicago and I was like, I gotta pick up this band. They're too good. And
Yeah.
while I was paying attention, I was just seeing them like the crowd. There were Reggie's
Yeah.
at 550 people. I've been following them for a while before that, but I said I never saw them live. I
Let's
don't
go
want
see
to pick
'em.
up a band unless I see them live or I have some really good feedback on them. And
Oh, yeah,
I-
yeah.
I went on there and sold out in advance. The whole crowd, like
Yeah.
singing all the lyrics. I was just like, wow. And I was like, this is absolutely crazy. So, yeah.
Wow.
So basically, I picked them up. We worked on this record.
Uh-huh.
We had a great tour with Danfonce, and then
I
pandemic.
remember.
And then we had a planned Avatar tour as well.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember you telling
And
me
then
about
that got
that.
pushed. So yeah, so they're kind of like in limbo. Great band. I think that you will hear a lot from them.
Yeah.
Exploding. Carrick
Is-
Ingram released a new record this year too. That's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, so a lot of my
Septic.
band
Yeah, a
goes.
lot of
Yeah, it's just I got a good strong roster of bands, and Wolfart's record's badass.
Wolfart's amazing. Yeah. I was really stoked to fucking see them.
Yeah, so I mean, that was perfect on your thing.
I know. It was
So pumped,
hopefully we can do this same lineup or close to the same lineup.
What a strong lineup we had for
I
them.
know.
And Christ and everybody. Wow.
I mean, a lot of promoters, like when we announced the lineup, everyone was just like, "Dan, this is like perfect."
oh,
like-
that
Some people were like doubting it too, and I was like, "I think you're crazy if you're doubting this lineup."
no way. There's no doubting on that line.
There was a few promoters, and I'm like, "Why do you think this is not going to do just as well as Dark Funeral Belphegor year? Like, are you crazy?"
Because they lowball you the offer.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It's
funny.
like, hey man,
But
but yeah,
it's like it was like competing with Summer Slaughter, that package. I mean, kind of
for
like, less bands, but like very,
more
very
special.
interesting. Yeah.
That's what the
So
way, I think, obviously I always came to you and Stephan for ideas, and this one was definitely all of us involved.
yeah,
Um, but yeah,
yeah,
that's like my
yeah,
whole vision was just I want to make it special every year. I want to have like band like this year was like obviously Rotting Christ coming back. It's been like 4 years or whatever, but even
mhm.
like more so like Borknagar hasn't been here
That's
in
crazy. That was like
21 years.
yeah, the surprise hit, and then Wolfhard on a new record.
Wolfhard on
Abigail Williams is on there too, I
Yeah,
think.
Abigail's new best. I mean, that record was their best record since one of their earlier ones.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
exploded
yeah. Well,
big
guess
time.
what? People are
Hey,
gonna be hungry when this is over.
oh
People are
man,
gonna die to go to shows. So,
I mean, I'm fucking
I
dying to
mean,
go show.
not literally die,
Yeah, yeah.
but you
Don't
know what
take
I'm
that the
saying.
wrong way.
Every single
Hungry
thing
for
that's
it.
out, yeah, every little show that's happening or whatever right now is
Yeah,
sold out in
I
advance. You can't
know.
even get tickets.
Even I feel like even smaller bands are going to capitalize on this.
I mean, it's just
People
there's
are,
going to be a big attendance.
yeah,
We just have to see again where all this is going to head as far as clubs are concerned. If there's still space, if there's going to be a lot of clubs that are still around.
yeah. That's the
So
other
there's this
concern.
big situation where we have to look at everything.
Yeah,
So
so that's like the one thing I'm concerned about is just what clubs are going to be around, are still standing in a sense.
a lot of the small ones are not going to make it,
No,
unfortunately.
they
It
just don't have the
seems like
funding.
that way. One day they're here, next day they're not.
I know.
But let's see. Depends on how they are able to cope with the situation. Look, when it comes to any administration or any people in power,
Yeah,
when it comes to arts, we're always the last. It
I
doesn't
know. It
matter who
doesn't
it is.
matter.
I think the only one out there that said something about artists was Amy Klobuchar, I believe, or somebody like that,
Name
that
sounds
said, like, we
familiar.
need to help these bands and clubs to stay open. It's like
I
that's
know.
the
I
only thing
mean,
I've heard. That's it. I haven't heard anything else
I,
from anybody. So we're kind of like at the bottom of
the
the
list.
entire thing. And then we're going to be the last ones to come back. I mean, even sports will come back before us. Then
Oh,
we're going
they
to have
already
to.
are. Yeah. It's just,
So yeah, it's going to be sucking for a while. But when we come back, I think that we're going to have a very healthy industry. Those who survive this entire thing
hmm
are going to benefit from it. That's
yeah,
for
I think so as well. I think whoever is still standing and still here is they're gonna benefit from it. I mean, I don't see us going away at all.
no, well, it
No.
depends if you want to leave or if I want to leave. you know, I, but
I guess we'll see the next few months, right?
yeah, yeah, let's see. But no, I think we were in good shape when this happened.
Oh
So
yeah, every year was getting better.
we were
I
on the
feel like
biggest
at
year
least.
coming. I mean,
Yeah,
2020 for us was going to be our biggest year,
I was right.
and,
Yeah,
and 2021 was looking also awesome. So I think that things are just going to stop for a while. We're going to have to readjust a few things, but we'll be back in shape. And look, we're going to maybe be a little rusty,
yeah, I
in
might
the
be a little
beginning.
rusty. Relearn some things.
I think the trick right now is to continue to book as if tours are going to happen later and just move that way,
Move them.
move
Yeah,
them
but not. I
until.
don't like. That's definitely smart to do. But I think the one thing, don't even announce them yet.
No,
Because
exactly.
I think when you keep re-announce, okay, we rescheduled to this one, and then you
Well, then
reschedule.
you're selling tickets. I think you hold the dates and then
Yeah,
you
hold the
hope for the
dates.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. The issue I see, other than clubs maybe closing down and some of this stuff happening,
Mm-hmm.
the other issue I see with all this is going to be the influx of all the
Oh
different
man.
genres of music.
Yes.
So we're always thinking metal, but you have to look at, again, like management. You got to look at everything around it,
Yeah.
and and we have dance music, we have DJs. I mean, you have blues artists, rappers. You have so many different blues. I said that there's so many
Different.
different genres that everybody's off. So everybody's going to want to come in at the same time
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because this is long. The more out of money they are, the rich bands are eating their money also, and then their overheads are not like a typical musician's overhead, like Metallica's overhead. You
Oh
don't want to
man.
know how much they got in costs a month, right?
Yeah.
So there's two issues I see. I see that one with clubs being booked solid with like so many artists every day,
Yeah, literally.
plus bands playing, two different clubs of metal, metal bands playing 2, 3 clubs that are different in the same city at the same day.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. I believe that's going to be a major issue. And then also the other thing that I see as a problem is going to be lack of transportations also.
Yeah,
There's going to be
all the bus
people that won't
companies.
be able to get in the country from Europe. Forget it for a long time. That's the other issue we're going to have. Rotting Christ, we didn't know if they could come in either.
Yeah.
Because the visas are getting more expensive. There's selective who's coming in. It's something that takes 2 months, taking 6 months. So you got like a lot of issues on the European band side. So that's not good for us because we have a lot of European bands.
A lot of them.
And
yeah.
so you have issues that are going to come in.
Yep.
Right. So there's going to be a backlog of also applications and stuff like that. So we're on it.
Yeah.
Doing the best we can. Right. So let's see. So if you're an American band, talking to bands here, and you are on a smaller level,
yep,
this is a good chance for you because we're going to put you guys out there first.
Yeah, the smaller bands. Yep.
The other problem we're going to have, that's the other thing I wanted to mention, is we're going to have all the major bands, the big ones that have the money, don't need the money right away, even in 10 years, they're still going to be greedy and come in first. So the Metallicas of the world, the Iron Maidens, they're all going to come out and be like, hey, we're getting old. We've got to come in and make our last bucks.
Yeah, retirement
so
money.
They're going to come in, but they're going to come in at that level that's super high. What I'm talking about is the smaller club levels. You're going to have some of those big bands going safe, right? And lower.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's say, for example, in Flames, they usually would do 1,000 cap rooms. It's probably going to come in and be safe and play 500 cap rooms, which is going to take all the spots away from all the bands that really need it.
Yeah.
And that's my fear of analyzing this in advance. That some of these bands are going to kind of downplay it, and then come into clubs where they're supposed to be in theaters or House of Blues venues or whatever. So we're going back to the roots a little bit. So maybe some bands that are smaller, some of your unique leader bands or some of the bands that are smaller that we have that are smaller.
Yeah.
They are the ones that can benefit in the beginning on touring because there's going to be demand. The smaller clubs, small clubs, they can get in there.
Yeah.
150 caps, 200 caps, and then fill them up and have some sort of revenue. I think that we're going to emphasize on that first because we're not going to be able to get some of our bigger acts to come right away.
No, be good. So, exactly. That's how I felt about it too.
That's the way I'm looking at this in a nutshell. We don't know, to be honest, everything, but
yeah, we don't.
We're kind of preparing mentally for all of this.
That's all we can do.
Nobody's been here before. Nobody could say that 100%. So nobody's been here.
Exactly. No one has. Well, awesome, man. Well, Maurizio, thank you so much for doing this episode with me. It's been great catching up with you, and also
talk a lot.
Learning a lot more. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we, we always talk about work and stuff like that. What we're doing. So there's a lot of stuff I didn't know about Cataclysm. There was stuff I didn't even know about you and Stephan and how you guys met. Yeah. So that's been.
So great. We're gonna do Vegas again.
Yes, man. Psycho Las Vegas. I hope I'm crossing my fingers it happens next year. We were supposed to be there.
No, I'm just joking.
What's that?
Everybody with masks and gloves.
We were supposed to be there last month.
It's true.
So
next year. Let's wait it out.
That's all we're gonna do.
All right, brother.
We'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon.
Some time. All right. Take care, guys.
Bye, Maurizio. All right, everyone. We're going to go raid somebody. I'm going to raid Eddie from Suicide Silence. He's streaming right now. If you want, stick around. Thank you so much for coming for this, coming out for this episode with Maurizio. Before we do this, I might as well tell you what the next episode is because I do have 3 next week. On Monday, Sean Mott, who works with Continental Touring, Sorry, dude. It went really well. But on Monday, I have Sean Mott from Continental Touring and Metalcore Nerds. Sean works with me and Maurizio and Stephan. He's an agent. That's on Monday. Tuesday, I have Signs of the Swarm. And then on Friday of next week, so October 5th, Sean Mott. October 6th, Signs of the Swarm. October 9th, Eddie from Suicide Silence. We're going to go raid Eddie from Suicide Silence right now. He is streaming. He's such a cool guy. If you don't know Eddie that well, even if you don't like Suicide Silence, Eddie's a really rad fucking dude. We didn't really get to know each other until this whole pandemic happened. And honestly, I get along with him so fucking well, and I'm just surprised that we were not friends before this. So I'm gonna start up the raid right now. Get in there, fucking blast some emotes, send him shoot him a follow, sub to his channel if you want to. You don't have to. He's not one of those streamers that pressures people to sub to him. I'm not either. Thank you for following. Thank you for stopping by. Let's go raid Eddie right now.